announce your presentation. We can't wait to start.
Well, okay, thank you very much for your attendance and welcome to this room number 1, which teacher research is going to be presented, mentored by two mentors from Turkey. We have here Seden Tujan. Hello, Seden. So great to see you again. And also Amira Salama. Amira, well, Amira.
Yes.
Hello, Amira.
Hello.
Well, in this presentation, I just briefly remind you the structure. Yes, every mentor will have the opportunity to present every teacher who is presenting this morning. And well, they will have maximum 4 minutes for their presentations. And once all of them present, we'll go and select our breakout room, okay? To have a closer communication with every presenter, in case you have questions, any doubt, any comment, please make your notes, and then in that moment, we will have a closer discussion, okay? So we finally wrap up to see what was in this discussion important, relevant for us, and well, without more words, dear Sedan, over to you, please.
Okay, Marisol, thank you very much. Let me have a look at the program. Okay, so this is my group, actually. I have mentored them throughout a PhD course, English language teaching and professional development. And this was a try to relate our practice to theory, as it has been my philosophy, and I took the opportunity to work on this experience with my dear PhD students. So we will start with Zekeriya. He is an IATEFL instructor at Hasan Kalyoncu University and a PhD student in ELT at Çay University. Okay, Zekeriya, you may start. They prefer to share their own screens.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for presenting me.
Pleasure.
Okay, now, can you please allow me to share my screen? Okay, thank you. Now. Okay, Seden Hocam, thank you again for presenting me, and it's pleasure for me to meet you all here and different people, different experiences from different parts of the world. It's an honor for me to be here, and let's very quickly share my topic, my study that we had together throughout a period of semester actually. And here our title is Making Your Path Straight Through Cards Model. And it's an action research for us. It's a project, it's a longitudinal thing actually. And so it focused on English language teacher education and how my actually story of teacher education occurred and how I benefited from this, how I developed in this process, and also I will go to other details as well. My focus was here, the thinking teacher, as not a transmitter, but a transformative intellectual, because as teachers, we are not just the transmitters. We don't share the information. Yes, this is sometimes expected thing, but we should go beyond this. That's why this was my focus, and thinking teacher should be on the stage. That's why this was my focus. And from Julian H's sentence, we started this. It's a thinking teacher is no longer perceived as someone who applies theories. Yes, we have theories, we have valuable theories, but theories are not enough by themselves. So as teachers, we are also the ones who theorize the practice. Our practice is a field for us to go. And in this study, I asked this question. and how well are the teachers trained to serve as the transformative intellectuals, but not just the transmitters of knowledge, to be the thinking teachers. So I try to define the thinking teacher as who are well equipped with contemporary teaching skills, who adopt a dialogic understanding, and also who take part in research besides performing a classroom. You see, multi roles, more than one role of teacher. So how can a teacher survive in this environment? And here, saying the word groping in the darks, actually this was not my method. Basically, as a teacher myself, from the very beginning, just right after the pre-service education, when I started in-service education, I tried to find my way, sometimes blind eyes, sometimes with some research and try and error things. That's why this is the groping in the dark. And here, my field is a School of Foreign Languages at a private university in Turkey. Here, my participants, the IATEFL instructors, my learners, my partner teachers, we teach in the same classroom. And also me, myself, my reports are included in this study. And I adopted here the cards model of Kumarabadavelo. Here you can see the table. If I zoom a little bit here, you can see the table to make it easier to understand. This is an action research, and I adopted Kumarabadavelo's model, cards model, through knowing, analyzing, recognizing, doing, and seeing. In this 5 steps, I collected different data from different participants. For example, in knowing process, I collected some data through observations, post-observation, and also some questions. Here, again, the setting is university students, teachers. I'm not going to go in details like that. Here, I guess you can take an assess here. So you can see this. Also, I've shared this in the platform. So if we go to turning over a leaf, this is a new page for me, actually, for my life. And I had the chance to, through this study, I dig into the teacher training education more. Now I could get some detail there, and I could negotiate with myself, because as teachers we have different selves, and I could compare my practice and my colleagues. So I could find now I know much better. And here this is what I perceived, what I got from these models. All have their places, you see, in the cards model. And what I suggest at the end of this study, I think that teachers and everybody should be more sensitive teachers. We should, because we are very important in the teaching environment, we should prioritize complexity in teaching, because teaching is complex by itself. It's non-linear. And student teachers, as autonomous, we should take them as autonomous individuals and support them to be in the autonomous. And also, theory and practice should go hand in hand. This is what I understood. And shortly, let me finish this. And I am optimistic here. At the end of this study, I feel really positive, because I think it will be all right on the night. And so I feel positive about the future. And this is what I expect from my future, my professional development process. That's all for me. It was a very speedy thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Presenter is Tuğçe Bilgi, again, my dear PhD student at Chai University. Okay, Tuğçe, floor is yours.
Let me share my screen first, John. Okay, can you see my screen? Right? Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tuğçe Bilgi, and in this session, I'll be explaining my first-person action research using the CARDS model under the supervision of our dearest mentor, Sedan Tuyan. Let me introduce you the reason why we adopted the CARDS model. Since there's no one-size-fits-all method to be applied in all teaching contexts, the POST method becomes an alternative to method rather than an alternative method, and it encourages and recognizes teacher autonomy. The operating principles would be then practicality, possibility, and particularity. All emphasizes the holistically weaved processes, context dependence, and interconnection among the contributory factors in language teaching and learning. As for the methodology section, I have written 6 narrative reflection papers over a term in the scope of my PhD course, Language Teaching, Teacher Education, and Professional Development. The setting was a state school from a remote area where I have been teaching for 3 years. And in addition to these, I collected data from 2 EFL teachers and my students as well. The purpose is to pave the way for developing critical consciousness that includes social, political, economic, cultural, and historical contexts to empower students by giving them the knowledge and social skills they will need to be able to function in larger society as critical agents, but also educate them for transformative action as well as for self-managed life. Although the main aim was to activate this liberating process, the CARDS model provided me with different perspectives to touch upon concerning teacher education programs, teachers' readiness, and learner needs. Regarding these issues, the research question is as follows. What are the challenges and limitations of contextualizing the curriculum and teacher education programs in ELT? And how can the CARDS model be used to overcome these challenges? Knowing module here taught me how important it is to create a classroom culture that is self-regulating, non-threatening, open to grow personally, socially, academically, and morally, that also shares a joint endeavor. Furthermore, earlier experiences with instructors at the university influence our perceptions of further self-images. This was an important finding for me here. Analyzing module was about finding the discrepancy between what is and what should be. And the findings presented how huge the gap is between the curriculum suggested teaching and the infrastructure the schools offer, and the actual proficiency level of our students and the targeted proficiency level. The findings implied the issue of localization while signifying the context where the students' immediate needs, in our case it was to pass the exam, mismatch the curricular requirements. It was suggested that these students gain a sense of control over their learning process and become more autonomous if they feel valued, heard, and responsible. Recognizing module taught us how we teach who we are, and it is okay to have mismatches between our belief system and taught beliefs by the authority. And this may be dissolved by the acceptance and recognition. Doing module redefined the teaching thinking teacher as someone who recognizes oneself, someone who is observant and perceptive to her students and has the ability to inquire by asking the right questions, constantly analyze the data in her classroom and adaptive to the problems and changes. Moreover, the findings suggested the importance of teachers as transformative intellectuals. Lastly, seeing module taught us that teachers should be responsive to creating a classroom culture, critically analyzing, reflecting, and taking action for classroom-related issues and establishing own action plans so that students can conduct themselves without receiving constant instructions, and so that they can feel free to come up with suggestions for further lessons and share their insecurities about learning, speaking the language, and they can be more open and confident in guiding themselves. All in all, every module here has its own crucial concerns and implications, yet all drew attention to the importance of contextualization and the acknowledgement of teachers as researchers, because a teacher can never truly teach unless he's still learning himself. And just like a domino, maybe one day we can shape teacher education programs and curricula based on these differences and contexts. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tuğçe. Thank you very much for this beautiful presentation. And now it is Ceyda''s turn, and I will share her recording. Ceyda is an EFL instructor. Actually, she introduces herself in the recording. Let me share my screen. No, just a minute. Can you see? Yeah, this is Jada. And let me share the sound.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jada.
So can you hear?
Yes,
And
we
see?
can hear it. Sedan, can you enlarge the, if you...
I will ask you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I will. Okay.
I'm an English language teacher for 17 years, and I am currently working in a public university in Adana, Turkey. I am also assistant director of School of Foreign Languages in my institution for 6 years, and I am a PhD student in English language teaching program at Çağ University, Mersin, Turkey. Today, I'm going to share the results of my first-person action research project. But before I move on to my presentation, I would like to thank my mentor, Sedan Tuyan, for sharing this video with you and for giving me the opportunity to enlighten myself as a teacher throughout this project. As we all know, language teaching and learning has a very long history, which dates back to 5th century. And throughout the history, the purpose of learning a language and teaching a language changed in respect to the transformations the world went through. Likewise, along with the rapid technological improvements that we all welcomed with the 21st century, the practice of language teaching and learning transformed into a more collaborative and communicative act of both learners and teachers. The new understanding of language teaching and learning sees teachers as transformative intellectuals and learners as active knowledge constructors rather than passive technicians and passive receivers of knowledge. On the other hand, it also necessitates a more localized, learner-centered curriculum and a learner-centered process syllables for effective language teaching. However, the literature demonstrates that in many countries where English is taught as a foreign language, we as teachers still have to cope with low achievement levels of students, as well as insufficient curricula that are incompatible with global demands. Therefore, within the scope of this project, I seized the opportunity to observe my own context and identify the substantial drawbacks of my institution's curriculum and assess its compatibility with the global perspectives of language teaching. I opted Kumaravadevalu's CARTS model as it enables to discover a different aspect of language teaching and learning in each model. Throughout the project, I completed the offered exploratory projects by the model. I self-reflected myself as a teacher and as an administrator. I conducted interview with my colleagues, my administrators and students. I had discussions with them, and I also administered a learner needs analysis throughout this project. I use my self-reports as my data, as well as the discussion notes and the interview notes as my data. And of course, the results of the learner needs analysis as my data. I use content analysis and descriptive statistics to interpret my data. The results of my study revealed that there are 3 factors that influence implementation of an effective localized language teaching curriculum, as you can also see in the figure on the left. One of the factors is that teacher education programs lacks in raising self-reflective practitioners since they are still heavily theory-based and give a little space for prospective teachers to gain first-hand experience and reflect on themselves. On the other hand, the time constraints and standardization issues result in intensive curricula, teacher-centeredness, and coursebook dependence in many language schools in Turkey. In addition, a lack of needs analysis causes mismatches between learners' expectations and syllabi, as a result of which students cannot learn effectively, and they lose interest in learning the language. So how to overcome these problems? One of the solutions can be trying to give voice and choice to our students by identifying their real needs through needs analysis surveys. I believe that we should also work collaboratively with our colleagues, and rather than depending on the course books, we can create material proofs for our students in line with their needs. We can include compelling projects to our syllabi, and rather than a standardized assessment, we can embrace a process-oriented approach for assessment. From a broader perspective, I believe that a more extensive and larger spectrum of studies are also needed. We can work collaboratively with other universities that face with the same problem in our country and worldwide, and we can also work collaboratively with Higher Education Council, since we are still dependent on them on certain areas. Thank you very much for your attention and listening.
So this is it. Let me stop sharing it. Well, very sorry for your loss, Jada. Thank you for this recorded presentation. Okay, let me stop sharing. Our last presenter is Ecem Uka. She is an IATEFL instructor at Tarsus University and a PhD student at Çay University. Okay, Ecem, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I am glad to be here, and I would like to thank my mentor, Sedan Hocam, in front of you one more. And now I'm going to share my screen with you. As my friends, my colleagues mentioned, we worked on Kumarova Develo's language teacher education modeler model, which is CARDS model. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, all right. And this CARDS model includes knowing, analyzing, recognizing, doing, and seeing. As teachers, we are the core of our educational context, of our classroom, and we are the shapers, scaffolders, or guiders, mentors of our students. Following this CARDS model, I would like to find out how does this model contribute to Turkish IATEFL teachers' professions and educational context at my state university? And what major problems and solutions for teacher education in Turkey are identified during and after implementing this model? And what major problems and solutions about teachers' educational context are identified during and after implementing CARDS model? With this framework, this study aims at creating a reflective, critical, strategic, and transformative guideline for practitioners in the field of English language teaching. And also I focused on puzzlements and possible solutions, suggestions for these puzzlements for further implementations. Here, maybe you can see the CARS model. Let me zoom in for you. Knowing, analyzing, recognizing, doing, and seeing. And for this model, we employed first-person action research study. I am one of the participants, and I have 4 other participants for this study. 5 semi-structure interviews, 2 lesson observations were done with this model. And according to the results, by starting with knowing, knowing wanted us to see the classroom culture of the best teacher. According to my participants, they said that the best teacher, a good teacher, should be a scaffolder, a mentor, and a monitor when it is required. And also, knowing model wanted us to focus on talk structure, question types, student initiations, topics, and wait time for my teachers. For this part, I observed what my colleagues' lessons, and similarities and differences were noted between the teachers. For example, the lack of lesson hours affected students' initiations and wait time, and crowded classroom affected formal teaching because there were lack of jokes or sense of humor in the classes, and unfortunately there was a book-based teaching sometimes. When it comes to analyzing wanted us to analyze our learners' current situations in terms of their needs, motivations, autonomy, and determining their goals and learning outcomes. Most of the learners, unfortunately, have the instrumental motivation. Their aim was passing the exam, passing the prep class. On the other hand, they need to be social and they want to be developed culturally while learning a second language. So there is a mismatch, but we can find some way, we can find a solution to overcome this mismatch. When it comes to recognizing, there were 2 situations given by the Kumarvadivolu in the book. Case 1 was plagiarism, and in plagiarism case, what would you do if you notice one of your students doing a plagiarism? We asked it to my participants, and my participants said that instead of punishment, reinforcement, mentoring, and supporting students, strengthening their academic performances, and they said that they wouldn't punish their students. On the contrary, they would show the right way to their students. Case 2 was about a student who was about to fail because of misbehaviors. But our care values, our values, all right, hocam, matters more. And in our teaching context, sometimes we don't see these situations. For doing, we talked about a thinking teacher who has pedagogic knowledge and who is also a problem solver, open-minded, wholehearted. And for the seeing part, it is important to notice and see visible and sometimes even invisible factors in our outcomes, which play crucial roles in our language teaching process. As a conclusion, the current situation in an educational context was tried to be displayed with this CARS model, and for policymakers, teachers, trainers, and educators, we need to do something and take the action about the areas which are in need. Thank you very much for your listening and attention.
Wow, thank you very much, Ecem, for this very nice presentation. I think, Amira, it's your turn as the mentor and your teacher, mentee.
Thank you very much, Sidin, and thank you for all the amazing teachers from Turkey presenting very good research here we learned from. I am Amira Salema. I am based in Egypt. I'm English teacher at Nile University, and I'm currently the Africa ELTA president. We have a mentoring program for supporting and mentoring classroom teachers to conduct the classroom research. We started this program in 2020 with the first cohort and 7 teachers publishing the research. And this year we have the second cohort. My mentee today, Emil, is from Cote d'Ivoire. He's going to share with us his research that he's conducted in his school with his students. Emil, I'm going to share the poster from my end, and then you will be good to go.
Okay, good morning, everyone. And as she said, my name is Emile, and I'm an English teacher here in Côte d'Ivoire. And my research question is about the causes of our student low performance in English exam. It is because since many times or since a long time, we noticed that in our classes, many of our students, most of them didn't pass the English exam, right? So I decided to research the causes of this low performance, right? And what I did, it is to find 3 ways to try to find the solution or find the causes first of this low performance. And one of the cause of the method that I use is to try to look at the exam results before starting my research. So I have a look at the exam result, and I have another look when I finish my result and I implement my new action, my new intervention with them. I try to see what can be the difference between the test exam, the test result at the beginning of my research and the test exam score at the end of my research. The second method that I use, it is a questionnaire with the students. I ask them some questions related to, according to them, the causes of the low performance in English exam. And after this questionnaire, I interview also some of my colleagues, right, about their opinion, right? And I want them to share their opinion about these problems. What are the causes of the low performance of our students? And also, what solution do they suggest? And you can see that the students who have been interviewed were around 112 students that completed the questionnaire. And you can see that 90% of them said that they find double H question hard during the exam, for example. And 75% that they think that the text for the reading comprehension is hard to understand, all right? And with the teachers, what I find as a result is that most of the teachers think that the causes of the low performance of our students are related in our student life. They think that the students don't want to learn their lesson. They don't want to be engaged enough in our class. And for them, these are the causes. So they think that it's not the teacher, but students are the unique responsible of this problem. But some of them think that maybe we have to change our teaching methodology, and that's what they think. And so after this finding, what did I do? Or what am I starting doing? What I do, it is firstly try to address the double H word question with them. So I organize some games session with them in order to permit them to understand clearly the double H question. When we ask question with double H question, what kind of answer they can find, and how they can themselves use the double H question, right, in their sentences or in some question interrogative sentences that they would like to build. Okay, and another point is, another decision that I took after the finding, of course, is to reflect on my teaching, to reflect on my own teaching. And I find out that since many times, when I designed my lesson plan, for example, I didn't take into account all the learning style in my classes. So I tried to look for through internet what kind of teaching strategies should meet my student needs. And I found out that differentiation is a good thing to do, right? So I read a lot about differentiation, and I started to differentiate my instruction, take into account the learning style of my students. I just want to remind you that my students are grade 8 and grade 9 students. So I started to differentiate my instruction with them. And the result is that I find them more motivated, for example. I find them more engaging in my class, and I see that the learning atmosphere has changed, and this lead me to continue to do this job, and it is a source of motivation for me. So this is a big point. So I think about my teaching method, and I try to change it. I still continue to change it, and finally, what I did also is to work with them on the reading comprehension activities, always by differentiating the different activities that I can give to them in the reading comprehension. And finally, it is what I did. So to conclude, I can say that this is an experience which is very motivating for me. And I think that if as teachers, as English teachers, we try to reflect on our teaching, I think that this will be good for our learners. This will permit us to not only change our teaching strategy, but improve it for the good of our learners. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Emil. Marisol, I think you're muted.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much to all the presenters, and of course the great scaffolding, yes, with their mentors. It's so important to see the relevance of teacher research for improving ourselves and sharing with others. As in this moment for the breakout rooms, they have already formed. I'm going to open them. They have the name of the presenters. Feel free, yes, to join the one that you would like to comment with, and also to visit as many presenters as possible, all right? Just click on the name and you immediately will be there with the presenters. After these discussions and comments, we'll come back for wrapping up the discussion. Thank you very much. The breakout rooms are already open. Okay, well, welcome back to all participants and presenters. It's great to see, yeah, this space for interaction. Sometimes we need that, yes, this part of refreshing our ideas, share our ideas, and well, listen to each other to have a little bit more of experiences and comments and reflections for our everyday work. So let's start maybe with the presenters, in case you you would like to comment and share your thoughts. How was your experience? How was the discussion in the breakout room? Please, would like to start.
Maybe I can.
Sure, please.
Yeah, that's great again to be here. I feel honored and distinguished to be in this community of experts, actually, and we benefit from each other. Thank you very much. But the huge thank is to Sedan Tuyan here, my mentor. He really, thank you very much, dear Sedan Tuyan, because without your guidance and invaluable contribution, we wouldn't be here now presenting with these very important people. Thank you very much. Yeah, again. Here, I really liked it. And in the breakout room, Miss Valide asked me a question. Thank you very much for detailed questions there. And it was nice that she focused on my starting point, actually, which was thinking teacher. So because I uttered that thinking teacher is no longer perceived as someone who applies theories, but who is the producer of the theory. So we are not the consumers as teachers, consumers of the theories. We are the producers of the theories. So it was nice that she pointed out this point. Yeah, I felt lucky there. Good. It was a good point for me. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks to you. Because yes, this experience and this space let you, well, this is now a question for you. Did you have any new connection, you know, with somebody from a different place? Was it an opportunity to connect with others?
Not yet, actually. Now, actually, I was on the Padlet, so I was reading them. I was checking them. Of course, I will spare some time for there. So hopefully, I will connect. Why not? Yeah.
Any
Very
ideas for
good
further
things.
research, Zekeriya?
Let me sleep on it. Yeah, Aslı Hocam, maybe we can share. Yeah. Yeah, that's good having teachers from different parts of the world. So our context is large. That's why we, for example, also Miss Valide asked me the question, are you teaching, is English the first language or the second language? Actually, I didn't think about this before. Yeah, English is the foreign language for us, actually. It's not the first language. So I realized that, yes, then if it is the first language, then the story completely changes.
Of course. Yeah. And yes, it's so interesting to have here people from all over the world, yeah, having the same circumstances. And well, further studies can be more than interesting, yeah, to compare what is happening in different places. Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much. I don't know if any other presenter would like to share how was the discussion in the room.
Yes, I can continue. You know, we are a PhD students group here with Tuğçe Hocam, Zekeriya Hocam, and Ceyda Hocam with video. And our mentor was Sedan Hocam. And without her guidance, we wouldn't be here. Thank you very much again. And it was very hard for us when we start to develop this project because of workload, and I am a mother, I have a baby boy. It was very difficult to conduct some research actions during this situation, but we managed it. And when I see now these happy faces, and when I got this feeling, yeah, I managed it, I succeeded. Now I would like to continue. This is my first IATEFL project, and I was following Sedan Hocam on social media for years, more than 5 years, and I always wonder how it is going on, and most probably I will continue to attend these kind of seminars, these kind of webinars, and hopefully one day we can conduct a face-to-face research, something like that. Thank you very much. It is very nice to be here. My first gain was, how can I say it? Continue, do it regularly. It was my first gain. We should continue as teachers. We should see our insights, and as teachers, we should see our learners' insights as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you. Because yes, as you mentioned, inspiring each other, I think is something that we cannot forget. Yeah, sometimes in our teaching every day, we feel that we are overloaded with many things, but these spaces for listening to each other, sharing, and as we said, connecting and observing that we are not alone and we love our profession, I think is so much inspirational. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Somebody else who wants to talk and share with us? Thank you. Yes, please.
Yes, as Ecem Hocam said, we are PhD students and we are still learning how to, teach and how to be researchers and everything. And this was a great opportunity for every one of us because, we got a chance to share our experiences and hear from other researchers. We got their invaluable feedbacks and comments, and the questions they asked actually, encouraged us to go further and study further. So thank you everyone for providing us with that perspectives. And being a teacher is also being a lifelong learner. So thank you again for all these opportunities and your valuable contributions to this seminar.
Thanks to you, because yes, as you say, this is never ending. And with these opportunities to listen to different research projects, well, I think research is giving us the solution, yeah, or alternatives for doing things, the same things in a different way, and maybe with better results and better opportunities for us to keep working and developing. Thank you. Emil, would you like to share your experience with us?
Yeah, of course. It is a very rich experience that we have just at the moment at the breakthrough room, and I'm particularly happy to be in this session. And for example, I think that a teacher from Nigeria would like to collaborate with me. So we're gonna continue the work of research, and this is a good point. And it is my first time to be in this research session and to do a research myself. So I learn a lot, and there are examples, some other parts during my research that normally maybe I should address that I didn't do. And one of the teachers suggests me to try to see it, talking about the causes of our student low performance. She suggests, for example, to maybe try to find a way looking at, for example, cheating or plagiarism, for example. I think that all these aspects are very important. So I learned a lot. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you, Emil, as well as all the presenters, because yes, you have done a great work, and that's fantastic. This is your very first time presenting and participating in this sort of events, and I think it's the beginning of too many where you keep working, sharing, and motivating yourself, because as I said before, well, not every day is the best day of teaching. Sometimes we need some help, some way to say, yes, you are doing things correct. And well, we cannot omit the sharing of our mentors in this room that I think have done a very great work and inspirational too. I don't know if Seden, would you like to share with us about this great experience, because your mentees were presenting, but as they mentioned, without your support, Amira, Seden, things couldn't be the same. On you.
Marisol, for your kind words, and Aslı, your continuous support to the mentoring community all the time, every way. Well, I felt so proud and so, how can I say, grateful that I have been a part of this community, really. We keep growing. I could even integrate this to my practice as a teacher educator, even in the PhD course. And we could somehow expand it to academic research. We kind of demystified it. I hope this can be a model for other teacher educators, because in the way I feel and think and honestly believe, teacher educators need to expand their understandings based on the global perspectives. We need to relate theories with practice. We need to inquire into real teaching context and be aware of the needs, as we said, based on Kumara value, needs, lacks, and wants. So we cannot close our senses to what is happening in the current context. Otherwise, it stays just as theory, and it is not useful based on my experience. I hope my dear PhD students can make use of these experiences in their future teaching context. Thank you all. Special thanks to my PhD students. Thank you.
You all did a great job. I think it was very interesting. I have a question, Sedan, because
Yeah.
all teacher researchers looked at one model, maybe through different perspectives. You know,
Exactly.
so wasn't that a very interesting, unique experience as well? You know, collaborative in a way. Would you like to comment on that?
Well, it was collaborative because they're an amazing group. They like collaboration. It is within their nature, and it is also within my nature. So we kept collaborating, and it is my approach, dialogic approach, like we keep on dialogizing, and that helped us enjoy our learning together because we learned from another during the process. And they wrote narrative reflections, Aslı. They kept on writing on their experience. They were, this was their first person action research, actually. They worked on their understanding because and they worked on the main issue, the major issue they felt stuck with. So their perspectives were different. They worked on the focus of their main attention, basically, if I could tell. Does that, I mean, kind
Yeah,
of
I
make
think
sense?
that's interesting.
It's a long story.
Great. I think it just sounds like a beautiful research paper to me, you know,
Yeah.
as well, you know, all together
Inspiring.
as an ensemble. And thanks
That's the
a
next
lot for
step.
sharing it with us. How about
Well,
Amira, I'm sorry. Would you like to share your ideas, your reflections with us?
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you, Sedan, for mentioning that it was really teacher driven, because I think this is the essence of classroom research. And I feel very proud of the teachers we have in this conference. We have Emil today, and also we have another teacher from Cameroon tomorrow, mentored by Harry Kucha in the same program at Africa ELTA. And I think this is a very important initiative that we started at Africa ELTA, and I am happy to see similar initiatives elsewhere as well in this conference. Supporting teachers to conduct the classroom research is very important because it really enables them to find solutions to their context-based problems. And I think this is very important in teaching, to be relevant to our students and to our context. So thank you, Emil, for what you presented today and for sharing your research. And I'm also very looking forward to our presentation tomorrow from our second mentee and everyone else. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Amira, and congratulations, because, well, a part of all your everyday work, mentors are with that spirit, as Sedan said, yeah, of collaborating and supporting and motivating and enhancing this work that is valuable. I don't know if somebody else in the room has a question, a comment. We have a couple of minutes before we finish this section.
My name is Beatriz, may I?
Yes.
Yes, so first of all, thank you so much, IATEFL, for this opportunity. Congratulations to all the mentors. Yes, that was really beautiful. I would like to congratulate especially Amira and Professor Emil, because it's beautiful. I really felt identified and motivated. Can Amira may explain a little bit how she began this mentor program? I don't know if this is possible.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to say this in 2 minutes. I'm aware of the time. So this is a mentoring program that we started at Africa ELTA in 2020 after a PTE event that we had in Nigeria in our conference, where we asked teachers who are interested in conducting classroom research to join the program. So they volunteered to join, they initiated their interest themselves, and then we had the program. Harry Kucha is also organizing this program at Africa ELTA, and I think Harry, I'm not sure if he's here, but he's going to be there tomorrow with his mentee as well. To know more about the program, it's already posted on our, Harry's here. Okay, hi Harry. So it's already posted on our Africa ELTA website, all the details about the program, how it started, and also how many mentees we have. We currently have about 12 mentees from different African countries joining the program. The mentoring takes place for almost a year and ends with a publication that's sponsored by Africa ELTA this year, and it was sponsored in the past by IATEFL SIG. So Harry, would you like to add? We still have 1 minute if you would like to add something to this, since you are a leading figure in this program.
Okay, well, great, really good to I came in a bit late, so I listened to the tail end, but it's great to be in the company of teacher researchers who are braving the challenging circumstances within which they work and their busy work schedules to incorporate some form of research to better inform their own practices and create connections with their students. So well done, all of you. The Africa ELTA research project came like our other teacher research project, like other projects that Amira is leading on, from a kind of a needs analysis in the continent. We've got really solid teachers who do not make their voices heard beyond their classrooms. And we thought that in creating an opportunity for them to arrive at more systematic ways of understanding what is happening, and also to be able to investigate this and share with other people would be a really good way of empowering our teachers. So for us, it was the idea of having local thought leadership through informed, thought leadership through research in their classrooms. And we hope that this would empower them, not just as professionals themselves, but also give them a platform to share with others. So we started with a collaborative initiative with IATEFL Research SIG, and this actually started a while ago in 2019. We had a pre-conference event in our conference in Abuja in Nigeria, where speakers from Research SIG and Africa ELTA supported teachers through a series of workshops on possible ways of engaging in classroom research. And then we called for volunteers who would want to be part of the project. And we had our first cohort, which worked through the very difficult pandemic. And then luckily 7 survived, and we published their research findings. And then this is the second cohort. Now, one interesting thing is that the publication has gone really far beyond Africa, because one of our colleagues, for example, in Senegal, was contacted by a teacher from China who read his research project and was really interested in it and wanted to collaborate with him. And now we've heard Emil talk about another colleague in Nigeria. So we're not just creating opportunities for teachers within the continent to collaborate, but also opportunities for teachers beyond the continent. And I think it's really an empowering, it's a way of empowering teachers and creating international networks that would help them in their professional development and support their students. So we are really proud of that. And as a teacher and now a boring academic, I think it's a privilege to be in the middle of people like colleagues here who've shared their research, and to see how much work you're doing, and hoping that this would increasingly be recognized in academic discourse.
Thank you very much, Harry. It's really motivating, and thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming and commenting. And yes, as he said, we all are invited, yes, to keep participating. And unfortunately, the time has run out. It was a pleasure for me to share this space with me. Congratulations to all mentors, mentees, participants. Let's keep carry on. See you then in the next slot. Bye-bye.